Welcome to the Body Project. Today we're going to look at the quadriceps, the upper thigh, and how to treat that with a foam roller. So we're going to start with a little anatomy lesson and appreciate the impact of treating this area and where to treat, and then I'm going to show you practically on the foam roll. So, anatomy lesson first. The first one we're going to look at is called the rectus femoris. This is one of the 4 muscles that make up the quadriceps. If you have a look at this picture here, you'll see little blue crosses. Now, the blue cross in this app represents where we can get adhesions, and the blue highlighted area actually shows where you can get a referral pattern of pain. So if you had a knot quite high up in your thigh on this muscle, if that section of tissue was stuck, you could actually end up experiencing knee pain because of that. Okay, so this is a very important muscle to treat. It's particularly important because it's a biaxial muscle. So what that means is it comes down, it becomes the quadricep tendon, and then it comes over, becomes the patellar tendon. So it influences the knee, and it's responsible for knee extension. But also at the other end, it crosses over into the hip, and it's a hip flexor. So at any one time, that muscle can be doing quite different things. It's responsible for the knee and the hip. So that bad boy gets worked a lot. So a very important one to target. So we're going to show you how to target the rectus femoris. We've also got the one on the outside, the vastus lateralis. And here you can see we've got the little crosses. So if you've got adhesions in the belly of that vastus lateralis, kind of midway up the outer thigh, you can end up experiencing knee pain. You can have pain that can feel almost like a type of bursitis, a bit of hip pain, and so on. So that's another important part of the quad we need to target. Inside teardrop, or vastus medialis as we call it, so the inner quad wraps around the inside of the knee. Again, if we get knots here, you can experience medial knee pain and pain further up in the thigh. Again, it gets a lot of use, especially when we're doing deep squat work. And if we've got any imbalances at our hips, that medial portion of the knee can get quite stressed, so important one to target. And then the vastus intermedius is really deep underneath the rectus femoris. So when we target this one, we're also going to get the vastus intermedius, which is the 4th quad. Another one that I'm just going to mention while we're here, TFL, tensor fascia lata, part of our hip flexor group, very important. It's our kind of pocket muscle. And again, if we get knots in that, it can refer problems down the outside of the leg. It can even imitate runner's knee and things like that. So we're going to have a look at all of these muscles, outer, inside, rectus femoris, and TFL. So these are the ones to consider. What we need to do, using a foam roll, is place the foam roll initially underneath the front of your thigh. So one leg is on the foam roll, and the other leg, I'll just show you this way, and the other leg is on the ground. So this one is not in connection with the foam roll. Much more effective to do one at a time so that we can focus on it. So if I'm working on this front of thigh, here I'm on the top of the rectus femoris, and you would find a tender spot and hold for 30 seconds to a minute. If you don't find anything, you roll slowly down the front of the leg, about 1 inch every couple of seconds. So don't rush it, otherwise you can miss areas. And again, as you find an area that hurts, hold on that area. The static pressures are the bit that matters. Okay, the static holds make the difference. And you can essentially roll all the way down your leg. Excuse the speed I'm going, just to show you, so you can work your way down the leg to just above the knee, not onto the kneecap, should make no contact with the knee joint, shouldn't put any stress on the knee, but just above it to the attachments, and work back up. So through that motion, you would target the full length of the rectus femoris muscle. Then what you can do is you can tilt your body. So let me show you this way around. So if I'm on the front of my thigh and I've done the rectus femoris, if I now tilt onto my side about 45 degrees and I follow the same motion, so starting quite high up, I can now be looking at the TFL, the tensor fascia lata, and then as that tissue attaches and connects with the vastus lateralis, the outer quad, I can then target that, and again follow the same trend down the line. If you find an area that hurts, hold for 30 seconds, and you can go all the way down again to just before the knee. So you can essentially target this outer teardrop to that point, but not on the knee. And in the same vein, you can also target the inside, which you would do by bringing your leg slightly out to the side. Have your body front on the floor, and then you just manoeuvre until you get onto that inner teardrop, so that vastus medialis, like so, and then again hold for 30 seconds. People often find this incredibly painful around here. Make sure it's not on the knee, but just onto this fleshy muscular part on the inside. So, super quick recap: top of the quad, outer quad, TFL, vastus medialis. All of these areas are worth concentrating on, so give your quad a decent bit of time when you're foam rolling them. Hold areas 30 seconds to a minute. Alright guys, see you later.